the misheard H-E-R-D. Minsan heard.
Salamat din, Brother Baumgart, sa iyong pangangasiwa sa pag-aaral ng komunikasyon sa Biblia. Dumating na tayo sa dulo ng ating programa sa gabi ito. Ano ang nais nating gawin sa ating buhay? Mag-isip-isip na ba natin? Halimbawa, maaari nating pag-isipan yung pananatili sa wastong pagkatakot. Sa wastong pagkatakot. Isang una din na mas mahalaga ang pagsunod kaysa sa mabuting sinunod. Mas mahalaga ang pagsunod kaysa sa mabuting sinunod. Hindi natin kakayanin si Uza na naging mapangahas at si David na medyo nagdali kay Jehovah, pero kasama din ito. Pero, niya na mas mahalaga ang pagsunod kaysa mabuting sinunod. Kasi ba po ito natin sa contact sino ang inyong contact person? Kaya ito mahal. Sa susunod. Sa susunod na linggo, meron po tayong tema tungkol sa manilibig ni Jehovah kay yung wala magkatipan at sinabit ni Jehovah kay David. At meron ding bagong awit. Abangan po natin yung awit para sa konvensyon. At nais natin mag-practice Practicein mo natin at maging masaya sa pagkakas. Pagkakas po sa Mayo 20 Web X. Ito, pero syempre, nais din natin na sundin yung mga tagusilin tungkol sa mga kukumpirma natin. Papasok tayo ng oras. Kukumpirma po natin na tayo ay walang mga simptomas at tayo po ay nakapag-contact ng mga may nais natin sundin ang mga tagusilin ito. Kaya maraming salamat sa inyong pagbibigay pansin sa mga programa sa gabing ito. Bago po tayo manalangin, nais natin na awitan ang ating Diyos na pasalamatan natin siya at ating
You were brave to tread here. I was brave once myself. How I miss the thrill of living. I have grown tired of fighting this thirst. Though it shames me, I can no longer feed off skeevers and scavengers. I merely cling to what's left of who I was. I am an end to this curse, once and for all. I may be at the mercy of Molag Bal, but I will slake my thirst on his servants until my voice is heard. And if they deliver me to Cold Harbor for eternal torment, at least I will no longer be this. The ones who created me believe him to be our greatest progenitor. Only the Lord of Troubles knows for certain, but if I throw myself at his feet and beg to be freed of this existence, I will...
Ama, Harold. No other witness went to the court to testify for Amber except yung mga paid experts. Yung kapatid lang niya, di ba?
showed up for her, but then they say that these people aren't friends anymore. They're not friends anymore.
You there. Keep your
Then
head down and
why
come
would
here.
they be doing what they would suggest are lying for? Why would they be
Hope you're not
corroborating
looking for
everything
passage
that
off
says?
the island. The crews on shore leave, see?
It's this simple.
The permanent kind. Ugly business.
The
A deal gone bad.
one time ever.
I work for an old
Any of
boss
the
named
various
Hot
forms
Tot.
of abuse,
Yeah.
physical,
Came down on us like a horse-branded ogre.
sexual,
We gave as good as we got.
and your
It
job
wasn't
is
enough. Cartar and a few slaves fled to the captain. Kamana gangsters right behind. Without help, they're as good as dead.
Just changed their theory after 6 weeks. She said, "Oh, well, domestic abuse just means physical abuse." It's not what Mr. Depp said. It's not what Dr. Curry said. It's not what Dr. Hughes said. It's not what you know to be true. You know that the evidence that you've seen constitutes all sorts of abuse, and there's a reason that they're running as fast as they can from those sorts of abuse, because they know that he did it. Now, the suggestion that Amber's abuse allegations are a hoax is vicious and vile. Mr. Depp can say whatever he wants now, but he can't change the evidence that you've seen at the trial. The evidence shows that Miss Heard did not commit abuse hoaxes. Not about sexual violence, not about May 21st, 2016, and certainly not about Mr. Depp and Mr. Walden's catch-all, all-purpose statement of Miss Heard's abuse hoax, which suggests that every one of her allegations are false. That's coming to an end. The evidence shows she did not commit any of those hoaxes. The evidence shows that she was abused exactly how not only she, but her witnesses supporting her
What are you doing to
say
Kat?
that she was. And their witnesses who claim that Mr. Depp abused her.
What you doing to Kat? Alas,
Ms.
sigsit
Vasquez
natin yung
talked
mga
about
damit.
actual malice. She says because Mr. Walden was acting as Mr. Depp's agent, you have to look at Mr. Walden. They're standing in
Yeah.
the shoes of one another. And as Mr. Depp's agent, Mr. Depp's malice is Mr. Walden's malice. Mr. Depp's malice is Mr. Walden's malice. He acted with actual malice when he made these statements. Now, after years and years of Mr. Depp controlling the roles that Miss Heard took, Miss Heard had the biggest hit of her career for 3 months before she was sued. She had withstood Mr. Depp's attempt to have her fired on command, and his own jealousy as his career went down the drain before her op-ed for reasons having nothing to do with Miss Heard. But once the lawsuit against Miss Heard was filed, his campaign that he promised to destroy her entered a new phase. And then it reached a crescendo when Mr. Depp and Mr. Walden decided they would stay together and decided to plan to stay spring of 2020. Encouraging Amber and her agent, Jessica Kovacevic, talked about she can't get hired because of the studios like her, co-stars like her. She tests well, but she can't get opportunities because of the negativity associated with Mr. Depp and Mr. Walden. You've heard Amber Heard on the stand telling you exactly what she has experienced as a result of Mr. Depp's promise to bring her global humiliation.
Members of the jury, this is an important case to both the plaintiff and the defendant. In order to reach a verdict, each of you must agree on that verdict. In other words, your verdict must be unanimous. The first thing you should do when you go back to the jury room is to select a presiding juror. The role of the presiding juror is to see to it that the deliberations are conducted in an orderly, businesslike manner, that they are conducted only in the jury room when all the members of the jury are present, and that each juror has the opportunity to fully and fairly express his or her views. It is rarely helpful for jurors upon first entering the jury room to take a straw vote, or for any juror to make an emphatic expression of his or her opinion in the case, or to announce a determination to stand for a certain verdict. To do so before all jurors have had an opportunity to consult with one another and exchange views and opinions might allow your sense of pride to prevent you from retreating from an announced position, even when shown that such a position is unsound. You have a duty to consult with one another and to deliberate with the objective of reaching an agreement, if it can be done without offending your individual judgment. Each of you must decide this case for yourself, but only after an impartial consideration of the evidence with your fellow jurors. In the course of deliberation, a juror should not hesitate to re-examine his or her views and change his or her opinion if convinced is an error. However, none of you should surrender your honest conviction as to the weight or effect of the evidence solely because of the opinion of your fellow jurors, or for the mere purpose of returning a verdict. In the jury room, you will have the exhibits that were entered into evidence. You will also have the instructions of law that I just read to you, and you will have the verdict forms. You'll also have a laptop, and that laptop will have just 2 files on it, and Deputy Lusa will set it up for you in the jury room. One is the plaintiff's files for audio and video files, and one's the defendant's files for audio and video files, and you'll be able to hear and watch those as well, the ones that were submitted to evidence. During your deliberations until you are discharged from jury service, you must not communicate with or provide any information to anyone who is not a member of this jury by any means about this case. You may not use any electronic device or media to conduct any independent research about this case, the legal or factual issues in the case, and the individuals or attorneys involved in the case. You are not permitted to consult dictionaries or reference materials, search the internet, visit websites or blogs, or use any other tools to obtain information about this case or to help you decide the case. Do not try to find out information from any source outside the testimony and the exhibits received as evidence during the trial. You will also have, I know the attorneys discussed briefly about the verdict forms. You'll have 2 sets of verdict forms, one for Mr. Depp's case and one for Ms. Kurt's case. Okay? Now, when you have these verdict forms, the first 3 pages of both verdict forms have each of the statements separately. Okay, so when you're going through it, you're going to look at each statement separately and answer the questions that are on the page. Okay. Now, if you decide yes for every question for a statement, then that's when you go to the last page of the verdict form, which is for damages. So, for example, if you find yes for all of statement 1, then you could go to 4 and 5 for damages. If you find yes for all of statement 1 and statement 2, you still go to 4 and 5 for damages. If you say yes for statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3, you obviously go to 4 and 5 for damages. If you answer no on any of the pages for any of the statements, you don't go to 4 and 5. Okay? So that will be for all of them. And then when you do come to a verdict, make sure the foreperson signs it and dates it, and then just let the deputy know about that. Okay? All right. Now, for the tough part, you may remember at the beginning of this case, I told you for anything less 4 people. Okay? We still have 2 alternates left, and the numbers were placed in the envelope in the very beginning of the case. So let me just say before I release the alternates that I know this is trial is a sacrifice for all of you, and I have taken, and you've taken away from your life for weeks on end here. And I know I speak for all of us associated with the case, and I want to thank you for your service in this matter. I know how hard it is to come this far and then not get a chance to deliberate, but that does not lessen the respect and admiration that we have for you. As an alternate, you will not deliberate, but you are still under order of this court not to do any outside research in this case or to talk to anyone about this case at this time. You're still a vote as a juror. That is because if somebody has a juror during deliberations, I'm going back for service. Join the deliberations and then start again in front of the jury. If you are under these restrictions, you're owed to deliberate the jury. We will contact you once it's heard and you'll be taking their obligations. Okay? But again, thank you for your service. All right? So in this matter, the alternate jurors are juror number 3. All right? So
sila ultimate juror.
Alternate.
Yung pinakamalakas na juror.
Hindi ko nga naintindihan kung bakit. Parang ano lang, parang pag daw, hindi, parang pag hindi na capable yung iba. Parang ganon.
Season 2 ba sila?
Tingnan mo si Amber hindi pumapalakpak. Ano?
May season 2 ba sila?
Ano yung sinasabi mo? Ready ho.
Completely agree. Well, good. I'm glad I'm last in question. Thank you, Ron. Very grateful. Thank you.
From there, slave. Unless you prefer to lose some fingers.
You will not put me in chains again.
No one will. Si Amber naglilit ng fingers.
Thank you, stranger. I was near to slitting my own. Kartag told us to run. There was much difficult to say. Far less than he deserved. A turtle heart. Thank you, stranger. Kartag, difficult. Far less than he deserved. Kartag, difficult. Far less. Thank you, stranger.
Mag-comment.
No, this settlement, $7 million to charity, and I intend to fulfill those obligations.
That's not my question.
Synonymous with one another. They
But
do
I
the same
don't.
thing.
It's heard. I don't use it synonymously.
Amber has once again been exposed after she was found to be destroying the evidence on the phone. The infamous Denver defamation trial continues, and it has been no short of drama so far, with recent developments leading to Johnny Depp winning access to Amber Heard's phone records. In this video, you will learn about some shocking evidence found on Amber's phone, and this development is sure to be an interesting portion of the case. But what exactly does it mean for both parties? Let's find out in this video. Straight off the bat, the fact that Johnny has been trying to get access to Amber's phone through court and has only recently been successful is a very intriguing aspect of this whole trial. What could Amber possibly have to hide if everything she has to say so far is correct? It certainly implies some shady business on her end, and the fact that there have been other instances where some of her claims have not been completely correct proves that there is more to the story than just what Amber says. Let's look at some of them. Joey wanted to prove that his Rum Diary co-star faked injuries she allegedly sustained during their marriage. Amber had sued him for domestic abuse when she filed for divorce in 2016. He has since vehemently denied her accusations and gave her $7 million divorce settlement with an agreement that neither of them should talk about the alleged abuse again in public. What's more interesting is the fact that Benjamin Chu, Johnny's lawyer, claims that when the LAPD responded to the alleged meeting, they found no injury upon Miss Heard and no disruption to the penthouse. Chu alleged in the filing saying, Ms. Heard and her friends then fabricated photos that she used to obtain a $7 million divorce settlement, which Ms. Heard falsely testified in London she gave to the ACLU, and, more scandalously, to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Sick children with cancer.
So as of today, you have not donated, paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill the...
Issue may think it deserves. If you should decide that the reasons given in support of the
Let the beast bleed. A slow death is all he deserves. Easy!
Killed by a damned elf. Looks like you came up short. It's poison,
You're told the
see?
jury that the events in Hicksville
Knew she
started
couldn't
with
take
Mr.
me
Depp getting
straight up.
really upset
Had
about
to
a woman
poke me with
leaning
a
on him.
poisoned
Is that correct?
blade. Typical. Did the others
Yes,
escape?
that's effectively what happened, yeah.
Moloch. I don't
Camille starts with
Maybe
a recollection of something
you
that
do
is
that.
rather, in a sense, so to speak, for whatever, all the things that we're gonna see here in this 20 minutes, is gonna be, this is like the lightest part, okay? That is important. You should be able to escalate progressively the heat, okay? So, the person thinks that they can manage this, that they've got this, okay? That it's gonna be, even if there's that threat at the beginning, that you have exposed your lies to the world, your lies have been exposed to the world multiple times, she can do that.
Testified that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist yesterday, right?
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying he knew how many pounds of pressure, or asking her how many pounds of pressure it took to break a human wrist.
But your own witness, former best friend Rocky Pennington, she didn't corroborate that, did she?
I'm not quite sure what part of that night she saw. There were a lot of people
that's at the end. That's important because you want to be like weakening defenses repressive. Okay, that's the trick of interrogation. Bringing the person like they are in charge of the situation when it's not. You are in charge. Camille is the shark here, and you sadly the take of the camera doesn't allow you to watch her mirrors, but smiling in Johnny's direction. Just it is a way of challenging Amber, trying to upset her even more. Okay, like I am the one in charge here. You have to do what I say, but you have to do it in a subtle way. Because in this moment, Camille is in a position of power. Okay, maybe when you do an interrogation, you are not going to be in the same position of power as Camille. Obviously, because Amber has to answer Camille's question. Okay, no matter what. She's got the upper hand in this case, so that's something that we have to take into consideration.
She didn't testify that Mr. Depp grabbed anything from Hicksville.
Again, I don't know what Rocky saw. There were a lot of people there that night.
You testified that once you brought Mr. Depp back to your trailer, he trashed it, correct?
That is correct.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
That's what Amber had said. And the manager of the trailer park was upset that Johnny had trashed the trailer.
Well, we heard from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park, Morgan Knight, on Monday, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be
First, Amber said that the manager was upset, and now she said that she has no recollection, doesn't know what the man wanted. Understand that? He is mounting. He simply has all like his point. That's better than let people talk. And by talking, I mean having all these days, all these weeks, recollections, everything. And you just go picking, cherry picking the term, the exact things that you need to people to act on themselves. That's all the ingredients. Patiently cherry picking we have a case. We have all the ingredients of representation that destroy your credibility, and it's the last thing that the jury is going to hear, and that is the most important part. The thing that's going to ring in their minds, okay? Of course, until tomorrow, are the closing arguments, but that is very important. That's very, very important characteristic. And that's the thing that they know from the cross-examination.
You're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
With that, again, Amber is unnaturally turning to the jury and answering a very short question, a very short answering that I don't know who it is. That's not accusing anyone. But she can perfectly answer that based on Camille. Okay? And the jury will not be offended for anything. That's the natural way of answering a short question with a short answer. Okay? That's bad advice. That's bad legal advice. That is bad body language advice. You are into law and you are into courtrooms. Please don't do that. Being natural is the only way to look confident. And being confident is the only way to convince a jury. It's like the way Dr. Curry answered. She didn't have to look at the jury all the time. She sometimes turned around to look at the jury, but most of the time she was answering directly to the attorney that was asking the questions. Okay, that is the natural way that we talk. We answer to the person. That is you're showing good manners that way. So be advised with that.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify.
Okay, look Look at reaction. Look at, I don't know if you can see John is turning. I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Chu.
You can remind me his name. Look
Mr.
at,
Chu.
can you see his reaction? I'm gonna put it in slow motion. He's really.
Tingnan mo. Ang galing sa slow mo. Kita mo talaga yung mga siya lang. Animated din eh.
No, like at that moment, he has that reaction. What? Wait. How is it possible to answer that? Like that. That's really. Benchu. Benchu reaction.
Correct? How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He don't know. And he certainly doesn't know what happened.
Notice that Ben also changed leaning forward. He said, I cannot believe she's saying this. I don't know how you. He is looking around him, and John is subtly is smiling. He said, what is this? What is this woman saying? I'm sure that this is even more ingredients that they're gonna use tomorrow. But it's like he saw in the direction of the jury. It's like he was assessing. Are they doing really? Why is this? He's assessing the jury. Like, what is this? Is he aware that this is going to be written and the jury is going to have all the time to review all the transcripts of everything and compare the inconsistencies? But she's talking. That's good. That's very nice. I can even say that my estimates of Johnny winning the case could be 95% now. But what is needed in the right language is glorious, blissful 25 minutes. Let's continue.
He wasn't there. He doesn't know. And he certainly doesn't know what happened when he closed doors. Like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
I am saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to.
Now, look, Ben is not believing this. He's not believing what he's hearing, and he's again looking to the jury, trying to assess their reaction, and John is trying to keep calm and collected too. That's very interesting to watch.
Doesn't match what I know happened. But I don't fault him. He wasn't there, so how would he know?
He testified he was there, Ms. Heard. Did you hear that?
That's his testimony, yes.
So you're calling him a liar?
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that
Notice that question, that tiny question, that very, very small question is really important. So you are calling him a liar, okay? That question is important because it summarizes what Amber is saying, okay? That this man wasn't there, but he testified that he heard Amber yelling at Johnny. Okay? So in effect, effectively, you are saying that he lied, that he committed perjury.
I should never
saying
affect
that
him.
were you the one that were yelling at Johnny. That question must be direct and simple and sharp at the
Oo nga,
end.
diba, Harold? Hindi niya sinagot na no, I wasn't. Hindi niya sinagot, I wasn't yelling at him. He wasn't there. Oh, diba?
Okay?
Cat.
Like, decorate it in any way she wants, but she has to answer that question. So you were saying that he was lying. Okay? That is at the end of every mini argument. Be specific. So you were saying that he is lying. Okay? So for everyone is lying.
you heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that
Yes, other than the light fixture, that was the only thing that was broken.
rearranged and things like that.
Notice that Amber doesn't pause when Camille interrupts her. I remember in this case, Camille has the upper hand, has a position of power. She is in command of the interrogation, is in command of the cross-examination, sorry, and maybe you don't have the luxury when you will be making this kind of questions. My recommendation is you learn to not stop talking if it's your turn to talk, okay? If you have to deal with maybe not toxic personalities, but maybe difficult personalities, maybe your character is not that hard. If they interrupt you, you are to shut your mouth and then they say what they are saying. Learn to stop talking. Disconnect your ears. Not the engagement. You were talking. They try to interrupt you. Just keep on talking. That's one of the most powerful ways you can win a discussion, because you're talking. If the person interrupts you, you can just lose track of what you were saying, and they can even twist the conversation in another way, in another path or another angle that's gonna just break what you were saying. You should really be able to not even slow down, not even lower your voice. The other person wants to interrupt you, just go ahead and keep talking, okay? Keep talking. That's. I know it's difficult for some people. It was difficult for me. I'm not a man that is gonna do that easily. You have to learn that. I can do that at will anytime, so it can be learned. I can assure you that.
The only thing that was broken in the trailer, according to Mr. Knight, was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken, just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
Your Honor, I'm going...
Body language, very important. There are many body language signals that you can learn in books, in guides, and everything. You can learn body language in my guide, 100 body language. You can download the link to the guide. Absolutely free. You can download it for free. The easiest body language signal in the face is blinking. Blinking tells you a lot about the person's emotional state, especially if you learn to count them to that respect. Much easier than card counting in blackjack. Far easier to do, and much more fun, because you learn to identify frequencies, and you know when the person is feeling anxious, for something, and the person might be controlling their body language expression. The person might be controlling her voice, but I can guarantee you that they will not be aware at all about their looking frequency. That is next to impossible. Okay, next to impossible. Notice her blinking there.
Mr. Knight was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken, just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
Your Honor, I'm going to strike everything after he summed it up that it was a light fixture. As non-responsive.
Yes. In this case, Camille is recurring to the judge, saying that, hey, this defendant in this case is not answering the question. So I'm gonna summarize everything that she's saying, like blah blah blah. Unresponsible. Unresponsible in this case, this means that she's word salad. Okay, the usual word salad. She's not answering the question, and it's not working for the effects of what they want to find out. Okay, unresponsible. This is another technique that Camille is doing to set the idea on the jury that Amber doesn't want to answer directly. This is also to undermine her credibility. There's no way out of that. She doesn't want to answer the question. There must be a reason that she doesn't want to answer. That's why Camille just does not give her another opportunity to reframe her answer or end.
Dead.
This is unresponsible. Let's move on to the next question. This is by design. Camille is a shark. She knows her shit for good. This is an inspector. This is blissful to watch. This is great to watch. Okay, this is amazing. This masterclass. But let's continue with the question, Your Honor.
In the security guard testimony, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
He's dead.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous that Mr. Depp was spending time from other people. Isn't that correct, Ms. Hurd?
That is incorrect.
In Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
Incorrect again.
That sounds a lot like a narcissist that needs attention, that doesn't tolerate their target, so to speak, doesn't give them enough attention, and they're giving other like fans or maybe I don't know what kind of engagement had Johnny there, but they become jealous of that. Okay, and she must have been aware who she was in a relationship with. Okay, from the start. So that's quite I don't know. Like, well, let's continue.
Ms. Hurd, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No.
Notice that Camille doesn't like sweeten the change from one state or one topic or one subject to the other. She just blows right past that and goes straight to the other topic. This is also to destabilize the person. Okay, there's no easing in on the next topic. It just goes straight there and begins to ask difficult questions. Like, you didn't know that the paparazzi were going to be at the exit of she filed her TRO, her restraining order against Johnny.
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
Single shoulder shrug. You must have watched the series Lie to Me. Lie to Me was great. Was very interesting. A bit too technical. Maybe it was the format that was not too appropriate, but there was a lot of insights, real insights, because Paul Eggman, real researcher, was the advisor of the film. In this case, Amber does a single shoulder shrug with her left shoulder. That is never a good signal.
I did not have anything to do with it.
I didn't have single shoulder shrug with her left shoulder.
I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
It's easy to spot. It's another easy to spot. Doesn't have a meaning in itself. It doesn't mean directly that she's lying, but she's uncomfortable. She's not confident of what she's saying, so we have to cast doubts of what she just said. And just in case you didn't hear that, because it's very easy to be paying attention to the body language and not paying attention to the verbal, to the words, which is a mistake. What did she say at that point?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
I know,
she
man.
raises the single shoulder shrug and she presses her lips. Again, I will have serious
Nag-ano siya, nag-send kanina ng link sa YouTube.
It was an actual criminal interrogation. I will just keep it cool. Will maybe keep asking questions about the same topic, and at some point I will come back to this. Okay, because I know that there's one problem. There's something unresolved with her involvement in that paparazzi at the exit of the courthouse.
Gagawin natin.
Okay?
Yung mga world boss ata sa mapa, yung mga world boss sa mapa, parang yung torch na icon.
Because you know that there's something fishy in there. We got the flappy fish market, so it is.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the
fact in front of the jury said that expressly. She just wants Amber to confirm what she said. Okay, and a very, very easy answer. Did you say this or not?
Yes
and she
or no lang yung
Camille
sagot.
is
Hindi niya
even putting
sinasagot.
answer in her mouth. This is
So
your
makikita
testimony.
mo
This is
na
something that is transcribed. This is something that is in the papers. You cannot escape from that. I'm telling you that you
Pero,
say
nandun yung
that
sagot niya.
because it's in the books already. Amber just has to say, yes, I did.
Panoorin mo na lang bukas pagtapos ng deliberation.
Kulit mo, hindi pa nga yan matatapos.
Matatapos na yan.
Her credibility
Kasi may season 2 pa.
You're not sure
Kailangan
what you said on their testimony,
mag-shooting.
under your own
May season 2. Yan.
then
Wala na siyang season 2, inabas na siya sa Aquaman.
I apologize, I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing a
Ano gagawin natin ngayon?
Just right. And you're...
Camille is doing exactly the same strategy as before. Camille knew that Amber was going to start with a word salad.
Ang dami nga. Hindi mo Ako nga, hindi pa ako tapos dito.
Pray. Okay? What does she do with this? This is unresponsible. Not responsible. She is not answering the question. She's eluding the question. How does it look against the jury? Lack of credibility. Why don't you answer the question yes or no? And that's it. Answering yes or no is the easiest way to keep your credibility intact.
Alin? Provision?
Question. Is that simple? Do a yes or no question.
Hindi ko alam.
Anything else that is not a yes or a no.
Provision, mga pagkain, mga
Absolutely. Well, not absolutely. But if you do it in
Baka magluluto ka, men. May cooking ano dito.
Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Stop talking, you!
Something that happened here.
Nervous?
This is important for
Do not make this one.
It happened to Rodmore.
Bless
I
you.
think inspired
This one planted his crops in a cap.
the song objection per se. That he objected his own question. But did you see that here Camille actually objected to her own? She said an objection. She said an objection in terms of that is not being responsible. That Amber's not answering the question. She's making an objection. Notice that Camille objects to that moment.
quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing a TRO,
Your Honor, this is not
we had no
responsive.
reason to
Move
believe
to
the
strike.
press knew.
She objected, right, multi-strikes, and she says she talks to the judge, the higher authority, please instruct Amber to shut her mouth when I object, because that's the way that it has to do. That's the way it goes. Okay. Camille knows that she has the power, but at the same time, she makes Amber remember that the ultimate power here is, the power is the judge, and the judge is gonna tell her with all her sweet voice, because the judge is has a very good attitude, very sweet attitude towards both parties, has been very patient with Elaine. We have to give her that. She's gonna tell Amber, please just limit yourself to answer the questions. I want to make 10-second pause to thank you for being 20,000 body language bodies here. I have never been alive with 20,000 body language bodies. This is my first time. I'm really thankful for you being here. If you haven't done so, all you have to do is hit the like button. I'm really grateful.
1%.
First time, just subscribe, hit that bell, hit like, and thanks for sharing this space with us.
Collection set
Josh,
item.
telling Amber, just answer the damn question, girl.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can, and Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive.
just you guys answer the questions asked. Okay, thank you, sir.
Ice staff, lighting shield, ice staff, restoration. Saan pa makukuha itong mga to?
Will you please answer the question? Yes, we have to. We want to go home early today.
Defiler.
In fact, you testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Incorrect. It was
You knew the press would be at the courthouse, right, Miss Heard?
No.
Hindi, doon ka dumaan sa front door eh. Meron namang side door.
She's beginning to press on. So far until now, she had many questions and has let Amber answer in her own way. She, like, do your word salad. I'm just going to say that.
Word salad.
She has done that twice. Okay? This is the time that she has to switch the strategy and not do it a third time.
May kasama ako dito. Kasama nga ako.
Okay? And we already are more certified from every witness that has bored us. Yeah. So she changes the strategy and needs to press on. Listen, you were not right at all. That's correct. You were not the answer based on the jury. And Camille interrupts her.
Yung mga crafting kasi, kailangan may listahan ka.
Press on again.
Hindi naman. Basta may materials ka, pwede ka mag-craft. Ang problema kung saan mo hahanapin yung materials. Kaya kailangan may listahan ka. Parang ang ano, Skyrim. Kasi yung sa Skyrim noon, ang importanteng gamit ko, yung Dragon Bone Armor at saka yung ano, yung isang sword. So, ang hinahunting ko lang doon, isang dragon lang. Para magawa ko yung ano ko. Eto, ganun din. Pero dapat alam mo kung ano yung gusto mong armor.
Well, you did bring a publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case.
You actually had a look.
I was expecting her answer at that moment. I was expecting her to say, I bring my publicist everywhere. That's normal. I'm a bullet person. I'm gonna do something that ultimately is gonna blow up. But every time I placed with irrelevant, possibly or negative, I bring my publicist. But instead, I bring him in case it blew up. Okay? She uses those words. It doesn't have a direct meaning. But it's interesting that she assumes that it could blow up. Okay? But she could have said, I bring them almost everywhere when it's relevant, and this case was relevant. That way, it would be a natural answer, and we have lowered the heat of the questions, okay? But she fell into the trap of using the word blew up.
TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp. That very day, didn't you?
No, I did not.
The one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ, other news source, or paparazzi source. No one. I never did that.
Testimony from former TMZ info.
She would have sent an email or
Did I hear these testimonies? Yes, I was here.
You heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that you knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that you dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That
that what actual survivor Mr. Gunn wants that.
Now,
What actual survivor? What actual survivor? Not just find those words odd. Again, it's not that you're gonna catch the person for one single thing. Odd wording here, violent place there, inconsistency there. They hated some location here.
that explanation must have come from the team, right, Miss Hurd?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor Mr. Gunn wants that?
Now,
Thinking was through the roof. But actual survivor, I'm an actual survivor. So you mean that there are non-actual survivors or fake
Gusto mo, gawin na lang natin yung mga quest mo dyan. May mahirap-hirap ka bang quest?
Or I don't know, or semi-survivors. Or actual survivors. Like, you try to emphasize the fact that you are an actual survivor. Who has survived domestic violence and calls themselves an actual survivor?
Tulugan.
the video of Mr. Depp cleaning up some kitchen cabinets, you admit that you took that video, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you acknowledge that the video
Thinking again. She just had the kitchen smashing. The video was just mentioned, and we know why.
Yes, I did.
And you acknowledge that the video was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce with Mr. Depp in August of 2006, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
And you testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's
You
existence
heard Mr.
online.
Tremaine testify that
She wants to appear
Kasi
frustrated
susunod.
or angry
Ilay?
at the fact that the video surfaced online, but it's too many coincidences that are just circumstantial, but that those paparazzi appear at the exact moment that they was nice for them to appear. She going out of the cars when she was by the zero, and the video surfaced online at the best moment possible in time, and the video was filmed by her. Okay, both the only she and her publicist knew when the day when she was going to file the TRO. Okay, and only she knew about the video because the video was filmed by herself. You can tell me that the jury's not gonna see all this. Like, oh my God, how can I tell you we could not be suspicious? Or were you the one who planted this? And this comes to the good part. When Camille asks about why the video that surfaces in TMZ is cut to not show the part that she's smiling and grinning and smirking and laughing at the recording that she just took.
about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX, yes?
I don't know if that's what his testimony was. I'm sorry.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes after TMZ received it, yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source, yes?
I heard him say that. I don't know if that's true or if that's possible.
And you heard
Okay, TMC guy said that what video is released as fast as that when
Saan ba
it's
siya manggagaling? Saan ba kayo nakatira?
by
Ayoko.
the source.
Ha?
The source
I
will
don't
be
know.
an
Saan
intermediary.
ba yung
The
Eastern
intermediary is going to be very
BD,
fast.
blah, blah?
The 15 minutes is just
I don't know.
to insert the TMC logo.
Parang kapitbahay ko sila dyan din.
And that's it. So 15 minutes is
Oo nga, isa nga lang. Eh kaso, kahit na isa, hindi ho pa rin mapapatay. Matigas talaga eh.
make the jury understand that the 15 minutes was due because they knew exactly where the video came from and who filmed the video. Okay, that's something that you cannot escape. And how convenient not show you laughing at what you had done, filming, getting Johnny smashing. You want to see crazy and all that stuff.
We are lying.
Tremaine.
So I know that's incorrect, is what I mean to say.
Another liar on the stand.
Another liar, another person is lying. Okay, we had how many liars so far? We have 2 liars and someone that did not saw what she needed to see. I don't know what we have. I needed to put a key. Saying my Spanish goes out. I'm too passionate about this. I should have a liar's counter in this live.
Ikaw. Pwede, bakit naman hindi?
We got 2 liars.
I just know that that's incorrect.
Notice how Benju is assessing the jury. He's looking at Amber. She then looks at the jury. Look at the jury. He wants to see her.
Di ba pwede i-kick na lang natin si Matapang?
So you know what kind of emotional points he can use tomorrow for the closing arguments. It's part of the strategy, part of the tactic.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ owns the copyright to the cabinet video, right?
That's news to me.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband, yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband, yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video.
And the cabinet video, the same cabinet video that was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce, yes?
That's correct.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
What the heck,
She
you recorded it?
Because she heard the testimony of TMZ guy. She knows that. Okay? There's no way around. It doesn't have it is preposterous that she says that she did not see that video. Don't you tell me that you don't see the video that surfaced online, TMZ, that you filmed, and you don't know how that video got there.
Nag-queue ka na ba?
A video that you filmed about Johnny smashing some cabinets that you supposedly, you don't know anything, anyway, how it surfaced online, and you're gonna watch it to confirm what was going on. Is this the video that you burned? What's this breach of security? That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. Maybe that is a bit more complicated for a jury to understand, but it doesn't add up. From a practical perspective and from a common sense perspective, if you realize that something that you filmed privately for you surfaces online without your consent, you will rush to watch what's going on. Maybe you are aware of the Pam and Tommy video. You know how it
Bakit
went,
offline ka?
The first thing that they did was rush to see what was going on. And it's the video was the video that I was thinking about. And you know how the story went.
Nag-queue na ako ah.
He testified that the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that was included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know what video.
I'm talking about Mr. Tremaine.
I don't know what video TMZ received. That's something you're trying to. I don't know. I don't recall. You can all use.
Nakalagay sa'yo, vote to kick daw eh. Vote to kick. Hindi ako pwede mag-travel sa'yo. Doon na ako nag-ano.
We don't need bad language. We just need common sense.
Testimony misheard. Let's just run that on you to repeat his testimony. No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Under I heard his testimony.
And he testified at the end of the video where you can see he's being smirked. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial in the sure book.
But is that Amber closest? That's called a long blink.
27.
Is when you close your eyes for a second. It means that person wants to be anywhere else. They want to just evade the situation. don't want to be there. This is what's happening with Amber right at that moment. Just
Ano to? Kalaban ba to?
I'm so stupid. I should have cut the video, the original video, and just leave that as is was sent to TMZ and just disappear the rest of the last part of the video. I think she kept the whole
Bakit saan tayo?
I disagree with that. Everyone watch that video and determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
That's because the video came.
Yeah, what's funny?
Nandito, pinapatay sila eh.
In this trial, what is funny or not, like faces, when Johnny was talking about Whitney, he was completely pleased. What's funny how he treated her sister, how Johnny was looking at her, and how heartbreaking it was. Whitney said, testified, and said that Johnny was smacking the Amber in the face with a cat hand. That's something that you cannot make this up.
Right, sir? You edited out the portions. Sir, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending them to TMZ.
You're very wrong about that.
So
If I wanted to read the explanation, I could have done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more. I was living.
This is your chance, diba, Harold? This is her chance to show yung mga evidence niya, but she never did.
Way a lot sooner.
Rewind here because this is also important. It is the heat of the battle.
Before sending them to TMZ.
You're very wrong about that.
So that I wanted to react to
I could have done it in a more effective way.
One of the information that we have effective way.
Sino? Nasaan?
before sending them to TMZ.
You're very wrong about that.
So that I wanted to react to information
I
like
could have done
that.
it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because
I
you
was
knew
living
exactly how to do that,
mounting
right?
this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
Why didn't you do it? Why? That doesn't make
Oo
sense.
nga eh. Mamadali, men.
It began.
May date pa yan.
Victim face will have your arrogant, powerful, power-hungry. We did that, Johnny text. Gold digging, low life, power-hungry narcissist. Oh my God! I have this frame. This frame reminds me of the movie White Chicks.
A lot sooner.
Ano ba siya?
A lot more.
Hindi ba siya level 27? Hindi ba siya yung level 27?
Right earlier in the trial, you didn't know how to do it.
What? This is no. We have to sing the movie around now. This is not good.
In a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because
I
you
was
knew
living
exactly how to do that,
mounting
right?
this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
So you testified earlier in the trial that you didn't know how to do it.
I don't.
You testified earlier that you don't know how to do things. I don't. But what the fuck, girl? I asked them. Choose one. Choose one. What is it? This is a train wreck. I really didn't notice how many things. I had to watch this twice to realize material was this. See? And yes, 95% on that Johnny's gonna win. Yes, because this is
haba na itong dungeon na to.
You edited that video before you gave it to TMZ so that only Mr. Depp would look bad. Yes?
That's absurd.
Right in the middle of your phone.
Again, very
I'd like to show you from evidence. It's Defendants Exhibit 799.
Ano, tapos na? Meron pa, di ba? Nagkakusapin pa dapat?
Lower the temperature a bit, okay, just to see what happens, just to give her some confidence again, something that you do to will a bit back, give her a bit of a light, and see what happens.
Sana daw tayo.
You have not talked about this photo with your authorities. You have absolutely no way of justifying the fact that you don't look bad or hurt or anything in this picture. So just your only defense is that you don't know when this picture was taken. That's really.
Ay, napatay din ako. Mahusay.
With your authorities this 100 times. And at least have a competent lie about what the hell was happening here and how this makes sense. When you don't have it,
nagpa-shortcut yung mga to.
Bring the tequila shot. I don't know. I don't recall. I have no information. I really work out there. That's all that you have. All just
again, I don't know. I'm also outside.
I was obviously wearing makeup, kind of makeup that makeup. What? Why? Why makeup? That really looks like makeup. With a matching hairstyle, no makeup. But you gotta know, I'm a man. I don't know about makeup.
I have no idea when this was taken, so I have no idea if I can speak.
Let's refresh your recollection. Let's refresh your recollection about when this picture was taken. Please pull Plaintiff's Exhibit 1315, just for the witness. This is an article dated May 30th, 2016, right, Ms. Hurd?
That's what it says, yes.
And this article contains the same photograph of you, Ms. Pennington, we were just looking at, yes?
Yes, I see that.
And the article is entitled, Amber Heard Smiles as She Puts Arm Around Friend One Day After Getting a Restraining Order Against Johnny Depp. Is that what the title says?
I know that's what the title says, yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish the article with everything but the headline and date and the photo redacted.
Objection, Your Honor. That's inconsistent with the way you treated all of these.
Let's take a...
In this case, what's sustained the objection.
Haba nito.
We're gonna follow the questioning of the
Wala, ito mo, hindi pa tayo tapos, oh. Siguro.
Then obviously there's bruise on my face. It's covered by makeup as per usual.
Let's zoom out of that picture for a moment, please. Thanks. That's Josh Drew in this picture, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And Miss Pennington?
That is correct.
In there too? Miss Pennington submitted a sworn statement on your behalf in support of your domestic violence restraining order, didn't she?
I believe she did, yes.
Mr. Drew also submitted a statement in support of your domestic violence restraining order.
I believe they both did, yes.
Richard, I'd like to show you Defendants Exhibit 512, which is already in evidence.
Ba't di ako makapasok?
We've seen this photograph before, right?
No. Pay attention. This is like 5 minutes. We're gonna talk about this photo, this picture, and this is gonna be
Nagkakausapin ba ako?
Damaging harm.
Hindi ako makapasok sa pinto eh. Parang may bug. Hindi, ito nakalagay talk to Gil Ryan below. Hindi kakausapin pa ata muna ako.
On the second day of your direct testimony, you testified that this was taken in the downstairs of the main apartment on December 15th, 2015.
December 15, 2015. That date is important. She testified that she saw that, she took that picture or saw that pattern of wine on December 15, 2015. That is important.
Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I believe so.
So it's your testimony that Defendants Exhibit 512 reflects damage to Penthouse 5 that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident, yes?
I'm not quite sure from what incident this is when I see this photo in a
Now she is not quite sure. First she says, Camille is telling her, this is what you said on your testimony on the second day of I don't know.
Yan, hindi na ako pumasok.
This is what you said in your testimony.
Pero activity complete na daw.
I believe, yes, I did. And when Camille asks again, well, I'm not quite sure, she says at times.
Ando na ata sa labas eh. Ayan, no?
Without context.
Asan yung boss?
Let's give you that context.
I didn't think in time. I was sitting.
I'm beside myself. You truly believe you won. I didn't expect our little friends there could kill Earthers. But I stand corrected. All this trouble because of one Bosnian woman. You're delivering a whisper grove, are you not? It is you who routed this peasant village to contend with me. Fascinating that a mortal could be so troublesome. I need a replacement for your Earthers. Come. Meet with me and I will close this gate. Spare your people.
I think I have little choice. Help the others to get as far away from here as they can.
Where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015.
You said 448, sorry.
May drop ba yung boss? Yung quest lang ang meron. Okay.
Testimony. And then the magic happens. Wait for it.
di lalabas na tayo dito, di ba?
Line 16 where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then do you see that your testimony about
Tapos
December
ako ay
15th,
nasa
2015
dito.
follows?
Let's see, this is the first line. Amber trying to not collapse at the moment. Trying to not die inside. She's realized that she screwed up again. Maybe she hasn't realized yet.
Yes. Okay. Now I'd like you to turn to page 4603. Starting at line 12. 4603.
Wait for it. Magic is coming. It's not gonna be pretty for her.
Starting at line 12 and going on to page 4604, line 4.
Okay, and Camille is doing this. Okay, notice that in previous questions, Camille has observed what Amber has said in her testimony. Camille like made the shortcut to just telling her, this is what you said in your testimony. In this case, she's changing the setup. She's giving Amber a book with the transcript, and it's making her read, because maybe she don't remember. It's gonna make her read her own words, having a transcript of her own words on her hands, so there's no way she can escape the words that she already said. This is another way of trapping her, of cornering her into what she has already said before. So there is no way around. There's no word salad that can save you. There's another level of threat. It looked like she was lowering the temperature. She was setting up Amber into the perfect trap. There's no other way for that. A trap. It's not that Camille is playing foul or bad or anything. It's simply a trap that Amber herself got her into it.
Okay. And do you see that you testified that Defendants Exhibit 512, which is on the screen,
Yes.
is a picture of the downstairs of the main apartment?
That's correct.
And the main apartment is Penthouse 5 in the Eastern Columbia building, right?
No, the main apartment is Penthouse 3, generally.
Specifics of the
Penthouse 5 was where you had your closet?
Penthouse 5.
The downstairs was kind of like I had some of my painting studios set up and a reception area. Upstairs was the closet, mezzanine, office specifically.
Alright, so it's your testimony that Defendants Exhibit 512 reflects damage to the penthouse, Penthouse 5, that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident.
How many times has Camille repeated the date? December 15, 2015. I've noticed that. It's like 8 times already.
Right.
I'm just not sure from which incident this is a picture of, since I'm only looking at
Even though your counselor was asking the questions about December 15th, 2015, and then admitted this picture into evidence.
Again, in my
relation to that incident.
Sorry, go ahead.
In relation to that incident on December 15th, 2015.
10 times.
This exhibit, Defendants Exhibit, you are the defendant. Number 512.
You are the defendant. You filed this as evidence for December 15, 2015.
Was admitted into evidence in this court. You testified that this was the result of damage that occurred on December 15th, 2015.
Well done, I don't know.
Yes or no?
I just need to orient myself because I'm just looking at a picture of a partial picture.
I just need to orient myself. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just screwed. I'm just going in circles here. I'm gonna pass out. I don't know what kind of defense I'm gonna do.
Richard, you didn't just look at a picture.
Elaine, please save me. Elaine, where are you going? Elaine, why are you running? Why are you running?
You looked at your testimony.
You pointed me towards the page and then asked me a question. I haven't actually reviewed it. I don't know if this was submitted in relation to that incident.
Let's actually leave up Defendants 512 and please pull up Defendants Exhibit 725. Which is already in evidence. In redacted form, Your Honor.
Alright, thank you.
Whitney is at the back already regretting not having escaped to North Korea.
Just side by side.
It's the same picture. I'm sorry that it was caught in the get it. It's the same picture.
You've seen this.
It's like that meme from The Office. It's same picture.
Photograph as well, right?
I have.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016. Didn't you?
Again,
What's the date?
I don't know.
May 21,
The date
2016.
changed.
You've seen this photograph as well, right?
I have.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016. Didn't you?
May 21st, 2016. Man, how many months did that wine stay there? I did not dry or evaporate.
Yeah.
What happened was it? And
Eto, nagbibenta pa
they
lang.
took another picture of how was that? How does that happen?
Again, I don't know if you're looking at a partial picture of the floor, so unless you remove the metadata you covered up, we could then tell. If you
I didn't cover it up, Your Honor.
Could we unredact
Your Honor.
them so we could get...
Camille is trying to say, I did not cover it up. And Your Honor, the judge, is the one who requested to cover it up to be able to show that here. So don't be silly. You're making a fool of yourself. Your attorneys are making fool of themselves. And they don't know. I don't know what kind of feeling could they be going through at that moment.
Minor, lesser.
Next to it is so that...
Ms. Hurd, there is no question pending, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be making argument to the jury.
So you cannot talk unless I tell you that you can talk. Understand that Camille is going full shark because she wants to set up
Or maiden
what's wrong
sash
with her.
collected.
She needs to be full shark so she can trigger Amber in such a way that Amber is going to get carried away. And that's what Camille wants. To Amber get carried away by her feelings, by the real Amber that wants to just say, I am better than all of you. I am better than my silly lawyers. I'm better than this, whatever she called Johnny. I'm better than you, Camille Vasquez. That's what Camille...
Ano ba gagawin natin? Magda-dungeon tayo?
At this moment, she's doing step by step. This is magical.
Sorry that you would ask me about it.
I didn't ask you about anything.
That Lord has not asked you about anything, so shut the fuck up. I have to listen to that again. I need to listen to that again. I feel good when I listen to that. I already listened to that. I think nine times will be fine for me. I'm sure for you too.
Data next to it is so that...
Ms. Hurd, there is no question pending, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be making argument to the jury.
Sorry that you would ask me about it.
No, I didn't ask you about anything.
I could give you a
I need a meet with that.
Let's look at your direct testimony from the third day.
Look what happens here.
Yes, ma'am?
She's gonna approach quickly. She's gonna bring a guide. She's gonna continue. It comes to the part. Your patience will be rewarded, my friends. Here we go.
Let's turn to page 4750 in day 17 transcript.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
4750.
Remember that when Camille is referred to jump.
Hindi, ito na. Crypt of Hearts 1, Dungeon.
Amber's authorities at the same time are doing the exact same thing to try to anticipate what are the questions that she's gonna ask so they can request to approach the judge for a Hail Mary.
Hindi. Alam mo naman sa akin. Itong pet ko, yun, yung maliit, yung elepante. Sa appearance ata, sa collection. Parang gano'n.
You see where Ms. Brennehoff asked you to describe to the jury what on May 21st, 2015.
I see that.
And you see that your testimony is reflected about May 21, 2015.
Yes.
That follows?
Yes.
Now let's turn to page 4804. At line 14.
In the dates of the photo
4804.
different testimony.
Starting at line 14.
Yes.
Through 4805, line 4.
I'm going to one line.
Line 4 at 4805.
What line?
Which one?
I forgot.
You see that you're testifying that Defendants Exhibit 725 reflects Bill's line on the floor in Penthouse 5.
That's correct.
Defendants Exhibit 512, 725.
Please,
These different
no,
versions
I
of the
am
same
long
picture,
dead.
don't they?
My husband,
That's correct.
I have long.
So which is it? Which one was taken on December 15th, 2015? Or May 21st?
Please tell us.
Oh, it's a possibility of redacted metadata you can find out. It's right there.
Or if you're telling the truth, you would know. Recognize.
If you're telling the truth, you will know which one's which, but you can't possibly know because there's the same picture and you mention them in different moments in time.
A portion of a spilled wine on a floor, and I'm supposed to know off the top of my head when you look.
Yung kasama ba natin parehong healer?
How that works.
That's not that word. Amber gets cornered, and suddenly the power hungry, more bigger, lets me go out. She wants to be aggressive. That's not how it works. And if this is not how it works, then why did you mention the picture at all in your testimony? If you don't remember, possibly remember the reference to the line. How was this as evidence? You cannot remember when you said it. You cannot possibly know about the inconsistencies that you set yourself up to, and Johnny's Atronis are just ripping you to shreds.
Of a spilled wine on a floor, and I'm supposed to know off the top of my head when you look through 5 years ago stuff. I don't think so. That's not how that works.
Mga hindi natutulog yan, min.
Sir, at the beginning of your cross-examination last week,
Yung mga kasama ko nga nung kailan ba? Kagabi. Mga nasa 1,000 plus na.
Can we approach? Can we do something? There becomes a rather long walk like this, like getting that great idea. They will already get here. We have less than 5 minutes left.
Ewan ko. Yung pet ko, wala namang ginagawa.
I demand you stop
Like
this,
that.
please.
Amber was already semi-destroyed.
Yun na yun?
Stop, Narayan! I've done nothing! That they must have been, like, mumbling or something. There must have been some kind of reaction that they cannot make any kind of noise.
True friend.
The judge tells
He
them,
was a fellow.
please
He
stay
thought the
quiet.
truth. He was
And that
wrong.
gives you an idea
I have found that
everyone in that room had been quiet all this time. They couldn't help but react to the fact that what was happening in front of their eyes at that moment. You're watching just the destruction and
All right, your next question.
Ms. Hurd, at the beginning of your cross-examination last week, I showed you an audio where you told tell the judge, tell the world that he's a victim. Remember that? That's right. Testify to found it hard to believe that Mr. Dunn would tell the world that he's a victim of domestic abuse. Didn't you?
I said I find it hard to believe that he would do that knowing that he himself beat me up for 5 years.
But he has told the world that he's your victim of domestic abuse, hasn't he?
Well, he started to say that recently. He didn't make that claim up until very recently. So when we signed our divorce agreement and we signed a statement saying that neither party had ever said false claims for financial gain.
Okay, I want to say something for those of you who have been victims of narcissism and domestic abuse. That's something that your abuser is going to tell people when you come out. If that's so, that's how he says, that's how he says, then why didn't they say that earlier? Why are they saying that now? And they try to gain something. And don't you find that suspicious? And you know me, you know that how I am in the society with families and everything. You know that.
Wala, hindi ba dito? Diretso eh.
Are just nonsense. But if they're tracing back 2 years back, then why didn't they come out earlier? Because that part of the gaslighting, that part of the control they want to exert over guilt, they making sure that always covering the media.
Oh yeah, andito.
Bringing you back, making you believe that if you work in this second picture, what's so beautiful, perfect, everything, working. And so when finally when you come out and they had abused for years, they're gonna use this exact argument in the book, written by the book. What a narcissist is gonna say, a narcissist is gonna manipulate the public saying, if this is what's happening, why they begin to say about that now and not before. Because before they still had a hope that they could make things work. And in fact, that was the thing that the narcissist, the manipulator, wanted to be constant, thinking that he could make things work. The narcissist something to make things lovely again. Earn the scraps of love that they throw at you. Pathetic and sad, empty. This is the I have to repeat every word. You're gonna remember that.
Tumatakbo.
Like, record them in your mind. When you listen to someone speaking like this, you will know what they are doing.
I said I find it hard to believe that he would do
Alin?
that knowing that he himself beat me up for 5 years.
But he has told the world that he's your victim of domestic
Stay
abuse,
your
hasn't he?
blade.
Well, he started to say that recently. He didn't make that claim.
He started to say that
You have my thanks, friend.
maybe the abuse was from years ago, but just for the fact he's trying to make it seem that because he began to say that only recently, then it's not valid. It must not be true. He's making things up. And every single victim, and not actual victim, no, every single victim, that's it, of domestic abuse, knows that it is never that easy to come forward, and it's gonna be judged at the moment that they come forward, and it's the first one that's gonna destroy whatever attempt at trying to escape the manipulation is gonna be the manipulator. There's no way
Ikaw, saan ka pupunta?
Up until very recently. So when we signed our divorce agreement and we signed a statement saying that neither party had ever said false claims for financial gain, it was relevant and important to me because I was the only one making the accusations. I was the only one making those claims. He wasn't doing that at the time, and he signed his name to it.
You didn't expect as many people to show up and testify on his behalf that did you?
This is the part when Camille tries to just bring her off balance. Throws a question that well, it has some relation with what has already been said, but throws it in a different direction, a direction that everybody would expect. You did not expect that when people gonna come out and speak about just right. This is the trigger
happened.
Anytime soon.
You didn't expect many people to show up and testify on his behalf that did you?
Incorrect.
When you told this jury under oath that you never assaulted, Mr. Gaddy, John, your dad, pushing the laws down the stairs, you didn't expect the laws to testify that never happened, did you?
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be in support of Johnny.
I know how many people will came out of the woodwork. Camille asked specifically about that one of the relevant counter argument about that planned idea of Johnny as in which the original that it never happened that Amber wanted to plan during her own testimony. Camille asked directly, uses the name Kate Moss, and Amber does everything she can to not mention the
An intruder.
because that's
So you're the one who's been undoing our work. Your duty to the Master's mates.
that I can give you and you ask
Parang ang totoo, umuulan sa labas, di ba? May mangyayari sa atin, ano? Meron dito.
This is Harry Potter's dad. His real dad.
Wala.
This is Harry Potter's real dad.
Tapos na ba tayo?
Okay.
Tapos na ata eh. Ay, ikaw sabi mo na. Puntahan mo yung araw dyan. Yun, di ba?
They can speak to that better than I, but they've bested my husband's
Not
news.
to answer that question on the grounds of attorney-client privilege and attorney work product. You can't answer that question without disclosing communications between yourself and Mr. Depp. As you're aware, Ms. Bredehoff,
Pero, andito. Dito ka kusapin mo. Yung multo.
Our friend's guilt is
Andito.
He may come looking
Yung sa may boss.
and we need to be ready.
Heard my question. I was actually asking him if he
Andito yung kakausapin mo.
type of representation other than as an attorney.
Si ano, si Alawi.
I think he can answer that yes or no, but I would instruct the witness on behalf of Johnny Depp not to disclose any communications you've had with your client.
No. So just so we're clear, since we have a little bit of record back and forth, the only way in which you represent Mr. Depp is as an attorney-client representation.
This is actually kind of good for him. He's not a spokesman. He's not a publicist.
You are here today providing this deposition
Okay, major protection after casting.
Yes.
Taken.
Because I have to.
I think that it was around October 2016.
And what is your role in this case as counsel for Mr. Depp?
Objection. I would instruct the witness not to answer that question.
When did you first meet Mr. Depp as opposed to first start representing him?
I first met him in October of 2016.
How is it that you came to meet Mr. Depp?
The general counsel that I referenced a moment ago asked me to go and have a meeting with him. And talk about a financial problem that he was having.
Did you enter into a written representation agreement with Mr. Depp when you began your representation?
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question. That calls for attorney-client privilege.
Have you entered into more than one representation agreement with Mr. Depp?
Same instruction not to answer. You can't answer that without disclosing attorney-client communications and attorney work product.
Mr. Waldman, when did you consider your attorney-client relationship?
Ring of the Wild Hunt.
Same question, same instruction.
Oh yeah.
I believe it began the night I met him, actually.
Has the attorney-client relationship between you and Mr. Depp been severed at any point?
Same instruction.
Would instruct the witness not to answer that question on the grounds that you can't answer that question without disclosing attorney-client communications.
Okay, I accept the instruction.
As Mr. Depp's attorney, you have provided him with rights. Is that fair to say?
Under claims, under ring.
That's correct.
And you have charged Mr. Depp for your rights, right?
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question. Can't answer that without disclosing attorney-client communications. And the fee arrangement in any event is irrelevant.
Sundering.
But I would instruct him not to answer on the grounds of privilege.
I accept the instruction.
Mr. Waldman, when you provide legal services in an attorney-client relationship, your understanding of that is that you provide advice and your client in turn compensates you in some manner. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, as a general matter, that's how I understand the attorney-client relationship.
And has that paid you advice?
I do instruct the witness not to answer on the grounds of attorney-client privilege. You can't answer that question without disclosing communications.
Siguro.
So the reason to leave that in is to show that Adam Waldman isn't being uncooperative. He's acting on advice of Johnny Depp.
So, babalik tayo.
You provide advice, and it's up to the client to determine whether to follow that advice. Would that be fair to say?
As a general matter, I do agree with that statement.
And by the same token,
It's There's plenty of lawyers.
Old Harbor, Clockwork City, Fargrave, the Dead.
You're still speaking in general.
Okay. Now, did your relationship with Mr. Depp, and I'm talking about your attorney-client relationship, deviate from those general principles?
Instructions do not answer this question.
Not permitted to follow or protect your advice?
Would instruct the witness not to answer the question based on attorney-client privilege.
I accept the instruction.
This is going to put no facts in the record.
Is that correct?
But yes, I think it's true. I think that would be free to terminate at any time.
And Amber Heard's team chose to call him. Yep.
Did you finish?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Now, has Mr. Depp terminated your representation of him at any time between October 2016 and the present?
That's the same question that I instructed Mr. Waltman not to answer before, just stated in a slightly different way, so it instructed him not to answer.
It's Elaine. She has no other moves.
Now, and Mr. Depp as the client in your relationship.
Inventory.
He's actually very good at bench you to do it this way.
Regardless of your advice, right?
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question. I don't know that I know he can't answer that question without disclosing communications with Mr. Depp. So I instruct the witness.
Basta kinol siya, lagi siya may privilege.
Epileats of the Leech. Please, man. Some magica. Some help.
There's situations where they delegate authority.
After he and Edward Heard had reached a settlement in their divorce, is that correct?
That's my understanding.
So you have no personal knowledge of anything that went on during their marriage, is that fair to say?
Well, it depends what you mean by personal knowledge. I wasn't there, if that's what you mean.
You've never witnessed any interaction between Mr. Depp and Amber Heard prior to October 2016, is that correct?
That's correct.
So they're trying to make the argument that he's making these statements based off of Johnny Depp's knowledge.
Against the other prior to October 2016, is that correct?
But statements made in real life.
Again, if you're asking me, do I have any knowledge of their conduct? I think I have knowledge of their conduct. I think maybe you're asking me, did I witness conduct?
I'm asking personal knowledge, which would be you had to have witnessed.
If you're asking whether I've witnessed it, the answer is no.
Your initial knowledge of the relationship between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard based on your interviews with Mr. Depp, would that be fair to say?
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question because he can't even answer yes or no without disclosing the substance of communications with his client, Mr. Depp.
Accept the instruction.
I accept the instruction.
Adam Wallman could have gotten the information
Once you came into Mr. Depp's life,
Kasi yung blacksmith dito.
Mr. Depp filed with your assistance a number of lawsuits which you gave.
Blacksmith Station.
Did Mr. Depp terminate Tracy Jacobs as his agent?
Lord Vivek actually spoke to me. This,
Ah,
my friend, is the start of a legacy, but not only for
23,
himself,
oh.
but for us all.
Answer that question if doing so require you to
Ang mga level
disclose
ko.
any communications you had with Mr. Depp.
Ano ko ba malalaman kung ano level ko?
Random 11, they didn't edit out the questions because Johnny Depp's team wanted to keep this in.
And again, Adam, same instruction to the
They don't want
extent
Adam Wallman to look evasive.
answering the question requires you to disclose communications that you had with
This
Mr.
burns a
Depp.
lot of the clock here. You're burning their clock. It's ridiculous.
Enhanced stats.
And I would instruct you not to answer that question because that could only have come from Mr. Depp in a communication with you.
I accept the instruction.
So again, it rehabilitates the witness because he doesn't look evasive at all. He's taking advice from Depp's attorney about attorney-client communication.
That's correct.
And you represented Mr. Depp in that lawsuit against Joe Mandel.
I did.
But it
Ano ba ako? Next level.
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question because it would require disclosure of communications between Mr. Depp and Mr. Waldman as to who was advising who as to
Level 22.
filing the case against DMG and the Mandel brothers. So I would instruct you not to answer that.
Best part is if they took any of these to a judge and the judge ruled in their favor, we wouldn't hear that objection at all. So every one of these, Elaine should know she can't ask this question.
Making ability with respect to the lawsuit against Mr. Mandel and his company.
And again, I would instruct you not to answer to the extent it requires you to disclose attorney-client communication.
It would.
After you began representing Mr. Depp filed a lawsuit against Mr. Wilson, Mr. Depp's former attorney, correct?
That's correct.
And you represented Mr. Depp in that lawsuit against David and his law firm, did you not?
I did.
But it was Mr. Depp's decision on whether to file a lawsuit against Mr. Depp and his law firm, is that correct?
Again, I would instruct the witness not to answer to the extent it requires him to disclose attorney-client communication.
Room.
And Mr. Depp, though, was the ultimate decision maker in connection with any decisions made in litigation against his law firm, Mr. Brady.
Same instruction not to answer. It's basically the same question gussied up a bit, so same instruction.
Yep. Speaking of Elaine looks like a fool. Like, really. She knows she can't ask this.
Mr. Depp filed a lawsuit against the Sun newspaper and its editor-in-chief, Dan Wood, correct?
Correct, and that guy's a cuck.
For this defamation against the Sun and its editor-in-chief. That's the UK lawsuit. Communication. Understanding instructions.
I will.
What was your role in the UK litigation?
I would instruct the witness not to answer that question because it necessarily requires him, or would require him, to disclose his communications with his client, Johnny Depp.
You represented Mr. Depp throughout the UK litigation, correct?
Again, I would.
Mr. Depp alleged that the UK litigation, Sun and Dan Wood had committed libel by accusing Mr. Depp of being a quote, light figure for committing domestic violence against him, correct? It was Mr. Depp's decision whether to bring the jury lawsuit.
She knows she can't ask this.
And again, I would instruct the witness not to answer I would instruct him not to answer because it would require him to disclose attorney-client communications as to the thought process that went into filing that particular lawsuit.
After you began representing Mr. Depp filed suit against Amber Heard, his wife, correct?
That's correct.
You represented Mr. Depp in the lawsuit against Amber Heard on March 1, 2018, up until October 1, is that correct?
Yes.
And it was Mr. Depp's decision on whether to file a lawsuit.
Cannot answer this question. She knows it. She knows it.
Instruct the witness not to answer that question based on attorney-client privilege.
And Mr. Depp is alleging in this lawsuit that
It's
Amber
gonna be
Heard
tedious. This is painful.
Yes.
As part of your representation of Mr. Depp, you contacted
I would. That is attorney work product, and that is protected by attorney-client privilege. So I would object on that basis, but you can answer that question yes or no.
Yes. You also spoke with the press on Mr. Depp's behalf, did you not?
And I would instruct the witness not to answer to the extent that it requires disclosure of any communications between yourself and Mr. Depp.
Sabi ko, benta. Benta.
Fuck you. Sorry, but that's such a... You need to make him say it?
I would instruct the witness.
It's the same
not to
question,
answer that
Elaine.
question.
This woman is horrible.
It's possible to do so without disclosing attorney-client privilege.
Why did you communicate with the press?
Same instruction not to answer on the same grounds.
If she did this in court, it would be the same as her redirect. Objection, objection, objection.
Same instruction not to answer the question.
You just get to see her getting flustered.
You remain Mr. Depp's primary counsel for all of his affairs.
Do not answer that question either.
I'm going to instruct the witness not to answer that because I don't think you can answer that without disclosing your communications with Mr. Depp and without the legal system.
That's true, and I accept the instruction.
Mr. Walton, I'm going to ask you to take part of his exhibit number 3. Did there come a time in 2018 that you contacted Rolling Stone about writing an article about Mr. Depp?
And to the extent that you cannot answer it without disclosing communications with Mr. Depp, I would instruct you not to answer.
Authoring this article, which was published in January 2018, were you present when Mr. Roderick interviewed Mr. Depp?
You may answer that question yes or no.
It's not yes or no. I was there for some of it.
Was the Rolling Stone interview before or after Mr. Depp filed suit against the Sun and Gambler?
I'm not sure.
Do you recall whether the publication of this Rolling Stone article was before or after Mr. Depp filed the lawsuit against you?
Okay. Saan? Saan? Sa Albion? Oo. Bakit ganun? Eh, ano lang naman din yun, di ba? Parang graphic lang naman yung in-upgrade.
I don't like the way the mountain rumbles these days. I was planning on sailing to Sadrith Mora next, but I don't mind taking you to an Alliance capital. Trade is always good in the capitals.
Para sa ano ata tawag dito yung sa Arrow app.
So that's a distinction that perhaps I misstated one of the two descriptions. However, that does not substantially change my opinion of the impact it would have on the mechanism.
Oo nga. Okay lang. Hindi, tsaka ano naman na sila eh. Tataas na level eh. Talagang malakas yung damage.
Let's find out. On the 20th day of the trial, her team called in an expert in the person of Dr. Richard Moore, who was expected to debunk Johnny's testimony about his cut finger. If you were able to watch the trial, you would think that Amber's lawyers did a pretty good job establishing Dr. Moore's credentials, as well as leading the jury to possibly believe that Johnny was lying about his injury. However, Camille Vasquez completely demolished all of that and even turned the doctor into a
Magde-deliberate na yung mga jury. Hintay na lang yung resulta.
Object caused the injury to his finger. Yes?
Well, I can't determine exactly what object did it. I think that I can say with confidence that the described mechanism of the bottle hitting and shattering the finger was not consistent with your injury. And
My question is just very specific. You can't determine the object that caused the injury.
It's a little bit more of a non-specific answer.
During the cross-examination, Vasquez followed up on Dr. Moore's testimony that it's highly impossible for Johnny to sustain the injury given that he positioned his hand flat on the bar when Amber went to turn it. Vasquez literally made the doctor confirm that it is actually not true. Watch how Camille did that.
Isn't it true, Dr. Moore, that he did the demonstration for his deposition? He showed that his fingers were hanging over the bar.
Well, hanging over the bar still leaves the dorsum of the hand or the nail vulnerable.
That's not my question, Dr. Moore. My question is, isn't it true that Mr. Depp said his fingers were not laying flat on the table, they were hanging over the bar?
Yes.
Vasquez continued to grill holes in Dr. Moore's credibility by pointing out that the expert is going to pay $20,000 per hour by him during the investigation. That experts need to maintain a high level of neutrality while testifying in court.
Does the outset provide additional testimony $1,000 per hour?
That's correct.
And you were posed in this action for several hours on March 22nd, 2022?
That's correct.
And your billing rate for providing trial testimony is $5,000 per day.
That's correct.
You were retaining this case by Ms. Hurd's legal team, correct?
Correct.
And over the last 2 years, you provided expert services for one of Ms. Hurd's law firms on at least 2 other cases, right?
That's correct, yes.
By bringing this up, the deputy was able to get the jury impression that Dr. Moore was defiant of his money involved. Another point raised by the legal team back that Dr. Moore was examined. Johnny hurt his finger and that the doctor was not present when the incident happened in Australia.
Dr. Moore, is it fair to say that you have no personal knowledge as to how Mr. Depp injured his finger in Australia, correct?
No, I have no personal knowledge. My impression is based on his
Oo nga.
description.
Na-unlock mo na.
Available medical records for review.
But you weren't in Australia, Mr. Depp and Ms. Hurd,
I was not in Australia. No.
And
Yung mga ibang store, hindi, guild yan, men.
Deposition? Yes.
And you were under oath, correct?
Correct.
And that was on March 22nd, 2022. Yes?
Correct.
Okay. May I approach you?
Yes, ma'am.
This was followed up by Dr. Moore's deposition where he testified under oath that the injury could have been caused by any foreign object, which is once again in conformity with what Camille is implying.
Line 4.
Correct.
Question, but you can't rule it out completely, right? Answer, I can't rule anything out completely. I can't rule out that you caught it in the door, cut it with a knife, or slammed it in the car door. Or, again, as Dr. Gilmore said, we can't definitively say what caused this injury. Did I read that correctly?
You did. Your Honor.
Amber's lawyers even tried to wiggle their way out of Camille's expert way of questioning by asking the judge to approach. However, Vasquez was still given a go signal to continue. Now, watch how she continues to demolish Amber's expert witness like an unbothered queen.
Let's turn over. This is the part the jury hears this. So, informing your opinion, did you consider Dr. Kipper's deposition testimony that while Dr. Kipper was providing emergency treatment for Mr. Depp's finger injury in Australia, in the driveway of the house, Mr. Depp told him that his finger was injured when Miss Heard threw a vodka bottle at him?
I don't recall that from the deposition. I'd be happy to review the deposition. Available.
Amber has one expert off the list of witnesses that can help her win the case because I don't know about you, but the way Depp's team grilled Dr. Moore on the stand pretty much flushed his testimony down the drain. How about you? Do you think Amber's expert witness is lying, and did Vasquez successfully prove his lies? Let us know in the comments.
Wala, papasok ka lang. O yan, may nakita ako kanina. Ano ba next na level natin na dungeon?
94.
24, di dalawa pa. Para sa akin. Sa'yo, isa na lang ano? Oh yeah. Yung alin? Barel? Hindi ko lang alam. Wala pa ako nakikitang weapon na barel. Diba meron? Alin, model?
You're so fluffy. I'm gonna
also sometimes called the preponderance of the evidence. Means the evidence which is by more persuasive when evaluated against all evidence. Testimony of one witness when a party has the burden of proving any issue by clear and convincing evidence, he or she must produce evidence that creates in your minds firmly with conviction that he or she has proved the issue. A statement that is not directly defamatory may nonetheless suggest a defamatory meaning in an indirect way.
Mas maganda kung ginawa nilang parang Final Fantasy to na mas mahihirapan kang magpalit ng class. Ang problema lang kasi sa Final Fantasy, pag nagda-dungeon ka ng mage na healer, ang hina ng damage mo. Hindi, yun nga yung problema eh. Kasi pagka nagko-quest ka, ang hirap patayin. Oo, pag solo ka. Dito kasi dito at least kahit paano pwede ka mag-switch. Oo.
Actual malice is a subjective analysis that looks to the state of mind of the person who made the statement.
Hindi ba na ano yun? Di ba pwede naman i-repair yun? Yung ano? Di ba yung may mag-ano? Hindi kasi itatawag mo yun, di ba? Mawawala talaga sa garage. Kasi itatawag mo doon sa insurance. Oo.
You must remember that there is no burden on either party to prove the truth of any of the statements. Both parties were free to offer proof of the truth. But by doing so, they did not assume the burden of convincing you of the truth of the statements. The burden remains on each party to prove that the statements he or she complains of are false. The rules of evidence ordinarily do not permit witnesses to testify as to opinions or conclusions. An exception to this rule exists as to those we call expert witnesses. Witnesses who, by education and experience, have become experts in some art, science, profession, or knowledge. They state their opinions as to relevant and material matters. Experts, and they also give a reason for their statement. You should consider each expert opinion received in evidence in this case and give it such weight as you may think it deserves. If you should decide that the opinions of an expert witness is not based upon sufficient education and experience, or if you should assume that the reasons given to support the opinion are not sound, or if you feel that it is outweighed by other evidence, you may disregard the opinion entirely. In considering the weight to be given to the testimony of expert witnesses, opinions differ. You may consider the ability and character of witnesses, their actions upon the witness stand, the weight and process of the reasoning by which they support their opinion, their possible bias in favor of the side for which they testify, the relative opportunities for study or observation of the matters about which they testify, and any other matters which serve to illuminate their statements. In considering the weight to be given to the testimony of expert witnesses, you should consider the basis for his or her opinion and the manner by which he or she arrived at it, and the underlying fact and data upon which he or she relied. An expert witness was asked whether statements contained in published treatises, periodicals, or pamphlets are reliable authority of a type normally relied upon by others in his or her field of expertise. This evidence is permitted to test the knowledge, accuracy, and opinions of the expert witness, and if such evidence is established as a reliable authority by expert testimony, it may be considered by you along with the other evidence in the case. In considering the evidence, you are not limited to the bald statements of the witnesses. In other words, you are not limited solely to what you see and hear as the witnesses testify. On the contrary, you are permitted to draw from the facts which you find to have been proven such reasonable inferences as may seem justified in the light of your own experience. During the trial of this case, certain testimony has been presented to you by way of video deposition. You should give this testimony the same consideration as to its weight and credibility as you give to the testimony of witnesses who testify to the report. You must not discount any testimony merely because it shows to be by the recording. When one of the parties testifies unequivocally to the facts within his or her own knowledge, those statements of fact and the necessary inferences from them are binding upon him or her. He or she cannot rely on other evidence in conflict with his or her own testimony to strengthen his or her case. However, you must consider his or her testimony as a whole. You must consider a statement made in one part of his or her testimony in the light of any explanation or clarification made elsewhere in his or her testimony. Any fact that may be proved by direct evidence may be proved by circumstantial evidence. That is, you may draw all reasonable and legitimate inferences and deductions from the evidence. Even from the case that a witness, other than the death or discharge, previously made a statement inconsistent with his or her testimony in this trial, the only purpose for which that statement may be considered by you is bearing on the witness's credibility. It is not evidence.
Easy daw, easy. Ilang beses na mamatay.
If you believe the evidence that Ms. Heard or Mr. Depp previously made a statement inconsistent with her or his testimony at this trial, that previous statement may be considered by you as evidence that what Ms. Heard or Mr. Depp previously said was true. In reaching your verdict in the case, you are considering testimony and evidence. Sometimes attorneys stated objections are used in the trial and instructed a witness not to answer a question. Objections and instructions to witnesses are not evidence, and you may not consider them in reaching your verdict, nor are you to draw any inference from the fact that an objection is made. You must not consider any matter that was rejected or stricken by the court. It is not evidence and should be discarded. Any amount of damages requested by a party is not actual amount, determine the amount of damages which the exposed party is entitled to may take into consideration all the circumstances surrounding the breaking, the occasion on which they were made, and the extent of their publication, the nature and character of the insult, the probable effect of those certain statements, their probable and natural effect upon the same party's personal feelings and on his or her standing in the community. Their verdict should be the amount of fully and fairly compensate him or her for, number one, any loss of his or her business, number two, any insult to him or her, including any pain, embarrassment, humiliation, or mental suffering, number three, any injury to his or her reputation, and number four, any actual out-of-pocket loss caused by the statement. Your debt cannot recover damages for any harm that occurred after November 2nd, 2020. The court can recover damages for any harm that occurred after Mr. Waller's statements were published. The burden is on the parties seeking damages to provide a greater weight of the evidence. Each item of damage he or she claims and to prove that each item was caused by the defamatory statements issued. Neither party is required to prove the exact amount of damages, but the party must show sufficient facts and circumstances to make a reasonable estimate of each item. If either party fails to do so, then he or she cannot recover for that item. If you have found by clear and convincing evidence that the statements in the op-ed were made with knowledge that they were false, or so recklessly as to amount to a willful disregard for the truth, that is, with a high degree of awareness that the statements were probably false, you may award punitive damages to punish misheard for such actions and serve as an example to others who make such statements in the future. You must state separately in your verdict the amount allowed for you and the amount allowed for the community. If you have found by clear and convincing evidence that Mr. Walton, while acting as agent of death, made statements with knowledge that they were false or so recklessly as to amount to willful disregard for the truth, that is, with a high degree of awareness that the statements were probably false, then you may award punitive damages to punishment through death for any such action. To serve as an example to others who make such statements in the future, you must state separately in your verdict the amount you allow to defamatory damages and the amount you allow to speak.
At hindi ka boss.
Closing arguments.
Saan yung boss? Kaliwa. Kaliwa? Ano kaliwa pa? Nasa taas.
Morning. On May 27th, 2016, returned Washington Courthouse in Los Angeles, California, to get a no-notice ex parte restraining order.
What? Uy, may lumabas dito. Sino to? Alam mo yung sumulpot ah. Nandiyan ka ba sa public? Ganun talaga. Manganese. Ano para sa itong manganese?
Yes for statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3. You obviously go to 4 and 5 for damages. If you answer no on any of the pages for any of the statements, you don't go to 5. Okay? So that will be for all. And when you do come to a verdict, make sure the foreperson signs it and dates it, and then just let them know about that. Okay? All right. Now, for the tough part, you may remember at the beginning of the game, I told you randomly select we still have 2 alternates left, and the numbers we're placing like I just want to thank all of you for your professionalism
Ng tower ata.
Destroy!
Yun. Ito na, nakita ko rin. Okay. Isang world boss na lang para sa akin dito sa map na to. Isang world boss na lang sa map na to. What? Oo. Yung shrine? I-select mo yung ano, yung parang quest tapos lalabas siya sa map. Tapos pupuntahan mo na lang. Kasi sa akin ganun eh. Tapos ko na yung story quest. Pinapakumpleto na lang sa akin yung mapa.
They said I...
Ang shrine ko kasi ay kumpleto na 15 of 15. Sa may Vivek City. Sa ano, Vardenfell. Ano ako, Morrowind. Wala, pumunta lang ako dito. Ito lang yung inabutan ko na ano na parang sabi sa akin, gawin ko daw. Ginawa ko. Oo, kasi meron dito nakalagay invitation to Morrowind. Tapos may countdown siya, parang 35 days. Ito yung ano niya, yung prerequisite niya. Kaya ginagawa ko. Oh yeah. Hindi, ituturo naman sa'yo. I-select mo kasi yung ano, yung shrine as quest. Tapos lalabas yung ano, pa isa-isa. Pupuntahan mo na lang pa isa-isa.
Robbery. I am a...
Why do you think there's so many people out here supporting Johnny Depp? What would would you say to them?
I think they're ignorant of the facts of the case, and I think they have a natural bias towards very popular, charismatic public figures.
Siguro, kasi una ko tinapos yung story eh. Tapos tsaka ako naghahanap ng mga way shrine. Pero madadaanan mo din naman. Usually, ang mga way shrine nasa kalsada lang.
Okay. Oh, no worries. That was great. Thank you.
Oo.
Interesting. Thank you again. Sure, yeah. Okay, thank you. There he is.
Lakas naman yan.
Alright, that was Johnny Depp driving by with his quarters. People are going absolutely crazy right now. They just darted across the street. There's people darting across the street right now. It's kind of chaotic, actually. You would think the Beatles are playing or something. So, Johnny Depp just arrived here.
Yung story niyan, di ba yung yung kapitan hahanapin mo? Kasi nawawala. Oo nga, nandiyan ka sa may, Aldurian ba yan? O yun. Ayan na, si LBJ, men. New Game Plus na ba? Lahat to, may shortcut din. Kanina, yung nilalaro namin, may tumalon. Shortcut. Patay si baka ano mo kasi niluluto mo sa tubig. Oh, malambot na. Wala eh, nagagawa ng mga quest. Yung kagabi. $36 ka na siguro. Ulitin natin, tatapusin. Para ka naglalaro ng PlayStation 2 dun eh. Meron ka? Sa Skyrim? Co-op lang. Co-op ang Skyrim, men. Ito kasi, ano to, di ba? MMO. Co-op. Pero ganito rin. Ano ba yan? Pwede ba sharing dyan? Wala naman subscription yan eh. Wala bang PS5? Gusto mo, Mike? May account ka naman dyan, di ba? Oh. 27 ata, 37. Oo. Oo. Wala. Wala. Fallen Order, meron ako niya sa PC. Wala naman ano yan. Hindi, yun pa rin naman. Oo. 20 rin.
Maganda yung may gawa. Tingnan mo.
Ano ba? Maglalaro ka ba o magsha-shopping? Ano Mike? Anong titirahin natin dungeon?
One more day, that is all I ask. Lane and Manuendo must have money to save this place.
Wala yun.
Bakit?
Business was
Sa journal. Sa mapa mo, do sa area. Tapos zone. Okay, sige.
the Imperium Justitias to arms!
I will not suffer the humiliation of failure. Not to a cannon reeve.
Set it ablaze!
Heal me. We don't have time for this. Light it up!
Burn it! Bizarre ritual altar. Let's take it apart. This altar's design suggests complementary ritual sites. Makara bets an eel pie there are more.
Light it up!
Go around!
Burn it!
It is good work. If you want to make a stew, you must gut a few fish, no? Now come! Let us undo this altar. This one still feels a magic presence. There must be another altar. Bakara thanks you again. Oreneth was a guild mage once. The Canonry has been very vocal about. She recently visited several mages' guild chapter. Bakara thanked.
Bakara refused.
I'll get topside. I only know.
Sold her soul completely. Dalmor will not be happy with this.
Bakara, look. Just as you feared. The ritual is complete. See how the darkness gathers?
Yes. Whatever Oreneth unleashed here may be even stronger than she. Prepare yourselves.
What in oblivion was that?
Everybody out! Oreneth would undo us all!
Mistress Bakara, what are you doing? We must go.
No, you must go. Warn the guild. Warn Tamriel. Quickly now! Bakara can't hold this forever!
Shayor's beard!
I'll get topside. I only know that I'll get topside and alert the Mages Guild as soon as I catch my breath. I only know that the darkness was not a result of necromancy. Though
Have you also come to do a bit of trading? If you love gold and rumors as much as I do, you'll love this place.
Ah,
Before being interrupted by an objection, bodyguard denied it and claimed he would have remembered if he saw it. Death tried to get teams laughter. And at number 4, Milani Cosmetics contradicts Amber's lawyer.
Amber Heard's trends, her non-verbal communication trends, the habits that she actually displays from a non-verbal communication perspective. This is what we're going to be looking at in this video. These trends are here for everybody to see. Yet nobody is actually picking up on the judge. Look, the audience on the TV, the reporters, the bodyguards, experts. But when I point them out, they are so obvious. You will not be able to unsee them over and over. Like, she's doing it again, she's doing it again, she's doing it again. And this is the trend where Amber Heard lies and Bonnie does something. I released a video yesterday talking about the occasion where she touched her nose. The more footage that I review of Amber Heard, she has a habit of touching her nose when she says something, and there's a lack of synchrony, as in she doesn't actually believe what she's saying herself. Now, if she doesn't believe what she's saying herself, and then she touches her nose, that's an affirmation, a confirmation. Yet it's locked in that she believes what she's saying is an untruth. What more do we need to at least be able to say, let's question this lady a little bit deeper? Remember, this is what I specialize in, the forensic analysis of the subjects given non-verbal communication. Hours and hours looking at somebody to notice what you're describing it that's there and key, there and well view of what we are seeing. Remember, I can't make this up. I can't make Amber Heard touch her nose so I get comment across the kid. What I will do is comments to explain why she touches her nose, to explain the context of when she touches her nose. And look at again and say, this is what it means. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. But indeed, that gives it like biology, gives it life. And we're also looking at how Amber looks the sensation as if she's being grabbed by the throat. Actually, it's all truthful in one respect, but it could be doubtful for reasons why she's displayed it, and then it doesn't appear somewhere later on in the video. Gives us a huge insight into the type of narcissistic character that we are actually dealing with, where she goes from performer to momentum. And that's where we see the gap, that's where we see the real.
What do you want?
Again, remember, I'm not Amber Heard either. I'm well aware that there's people in the Johnny Depp camp, and I'm well aware that there's people in the Amber Heard camp. I don't care about Johnny Depp, and I don't care about Amber Heard. The benefit of that is that what I'm doing is coming from an evidence-based perspective. Trying to run one camp over and one run another, I don't care. But by not caring, that's what my job and my thing to do. It allows me to give you accurate description of what's going on. Therefore, if I say I think something not the truth, I genuinely believe that it's based on evidence.
It's hard not to believe in your gods when we make regular runs between here and